The fiery summer of 1986 in Mexico. It wasn't just a tournament. It witnessed the final swan dance of pure artistic football. That year, under the guidance of strategist Tele Santana, the Brazilian team didn't win a gold trophy, but they left behind something far more precious: a reverence for beauty. They were artists on the pitch, playing as if strolling along the line between victory and defeat. The fateful quarter-final match against France in Guadalajara will forever be remembered as the best match of the century, where Brazilian tears flowed, bringing to a close a romantic era. Nearly 40 years have passed since that fateful afternoon. What has become of the golden boys of the Samba nation? Where has fate led them after shedding their legendary yellow and green jerseys? Some have become immortal icons, some have faded into oblivion, and others have forever turned to dust. Join us as we turn the pages of the lives of the talented and tragic generation of Brazil's 1986 team. Socrates, at Mexico 86, had turned 32. He didn't wear the captain's armband like in 1982, but he remained the soul, the brain, and the heart of the Seleção. With his white headband, his long, graceful legs, and his skillful backheel passes, Socrates played like a sage strolling leisurely. His missed penalty kick from a stationary position against French goalkeeper Joel Batz was a quintessential example of him. Cool, artistic, but also full of risk. Socrates on the pitch that year embodied a proud Brazil, preferring a beautiful defeat to a rough victory. Away from the pitch, Socrates' life was a colorful and philosophical novel. He was a rare player with a medical degree, a left-wing intellectual who always fought for democracy, the Corinthians' democracy movement. After retiring, he opened a medical clinic, wrote political and social commentary for newspapers, and even composed music. He lived a free, unconstrained life, always with a beer and a cigarette in hand, debating philosophy and politics late into the night. Socrates never considered himself a professional athlete in the conventional sense, but rather a free individual experiencing the world. The connection between Socrates on and off the pitch is one of disobedience. On the pitch, he doesn't run much, relying instead on his intellect to control the ball. Off the pitch, he doesn't adhere to conventional health and fitness rules, living fully in his worldly passions. He is a great wanderer, one who believes that football is only a small part of the larger world. However, that poetic journey came to a sudden and tragic end. Years of alcohol abuse ravaged the talented doctor's body. On December 4, 2011, Socrates died in Sao Paulo at the age of 57 from septic shock, a consequence of long-term alcohol abuse. In a strange twist of fate, he passed away on the very day his beloved Corinthians won the Brazilian championship, fulfilling his wish. "I want to die on a Sunday and Corinthians win the championship." His legacy is not just about beautiful football, but about the philosophy of a man who dared to live differently. Zico arrived in Mexico 86 at the age of 33, carrying the nickname White Pele and the burden of an entire nation. However, that tournament was a somber one. Having not fully recovered from a serious knee injury, Zico mostly sat on the bench. The moment he came on against France and delivered a brilliant pass to Branco, leading to a penalty, should have been a happy ending. But then, Zico himself missed that penalty. The image of Zico clutching his head in disappointment symbolizes the unfinished business of an entire generation of talent without a World Cup title. But if 1986 was a tragedy, Zico's life afterward was an epic of rebirth. After leaving Flamengo, he made a bold move, moving to Japan to play for Kashima Antlers in his later years. There, Zico not only played football, but he also taught the Japanese how to run professional football. He is revered as the football saint, Kami-sama, in the land of the rising sun, the man who laid the foundation for the rise of Japanese football. After retiring as a player, Zico became a distinguished coach, leading the Japanese national team to victory in the Asian Cup, guiding Fenerbahce to the Champions League quarter-finals, and working in various countries. His personal life is exemplary and peaceful, in contrast to the flamboyant lifestyles of many of his contemporaries. He is a family man and a respected sports administrator. Now, at 72, Zico continues to dedicate himself to his work as technical director at Kashima Antlers, and is a highly influential figure in Brazil. He has proven that a missed penalty cannot define an entire life, and the class of a legend lies in how they rise after a fall. Careca, 25 years old, was the sharpest striker among the 1986 squad. He finished off the elegant passes of his senior teammates with decisive goals. With 5 goals in the tournament, Careca proved himself to be one of the best center forwards in the world at that time. His speed, strength, and diverse finishing ability were the greatest hope for the Sélection's attack. The opening goal against France was a masterpiece of collective teamwork and intelligent positioning. Careca's career flourished after the 1986 World Cup when he moved to Napoli, Italy. There, he, along with Diego Maradona and Bruno Giordano, formed the legendary Magica trio, helping Napoli win the Scudetto and the UEFA Cup. The friendship between him and Maradona is a beautiful story that transcends borders. 2 enemies at the World Cup became close friends at the club. After retiring from football, Careca chose a relatively private life but remained closely connected to the sport. He founded Campinas FC in his hometown to train young players and became a successful businessman in the sports industry. Careca avoided media attention and scandals, maintaining the image of a refined gentleman, happily enjoying life with his family and old friends. Today, at 64, Careca still maintains his agility, frequently participates in charity matches, and is a respected guest commentator. He is a testament to the type of player who knows how to balance past glory with present stability. Jr., also known as Leovigildo Lins da Gama Jr., arrived at Mexico 86 at the age of 31. Unlike his 1982 left-back days, this year he moved more into the center, acting as a playmaker controlling the game. With his distinctive bushy hair and beard, Jr. exuded calmness and superb technique. He set the rhythm for the Samba dances on the field, a player who could perform well in any position thanks to his tactical thinking that was ahead of his time. The most fascinating thing about Jr. is his incredibly long career. After his defeat in '86, he continued playing top-level football, then switched to beach soccer and became a legend of the sport, helping to popularize it worldwide. He embodies the pure joy of playing football, whether on grass or on sand. In real life, Jr. is a true artist. He has released Samba albums and is a singer with a captivating voice. The fluidity of music and football seems to blend seamlessly into his personality. After retiring completely, he became a main commentator for Globo, his voice becoming familiar to every Brazilian household during major matches. Today, at 70 years old, Grandpa Jr., his affectionate nickname, is still full of energy, living the joyful life of a sambista, and is highly respected for his extensive knowledge and boundless love for the beautiful game. Yosemar's performance at the 1986 World Cup was a true fairy tale, but the aftermath was tinged with tragedy. At 24, he was an unknown name, called up at the last minute to replace the injured star Edson. But Josemar stunned the world with 2 spectacular long-range goals against Northern Ireland and Poland. From a substitute, he rose to become the most sought-after star, hailed as the successor to Carlos Alberto. But the sudden fame burned the young man before he had a chance to mature. After the World Cup, Josemar couldn't control his fame and money. All-night parties, strong alcohol, and drugs dragged him down a slippery slope. His career plummeted. He wandered through many small clubs and retired quietly. He was once arrested for drug possession and lived in poverty, even selling his metal memorabilia to get money. Josemar's life is a painful testament to the dark side of fame. However, thankfully, he didn't completely collapse. After years of struggling with addiction and rediscovering himself, Josemar gradually settled down. He returned to the remote countryside of Roraima to live a quiet life, away from temptation. Today, at 63, though not wealthy or powerful, Josemar has found peace of mind. He occasionally appears in the press to share his painful lessons with the younger generation. A once brilliant shooting star who has now chosen to fade away in peace. Paulo Roberto Falcone, King of Rome, arrived in Mexico 86 at the age of 32, his glory days already beginning to fade. Having been the best player in the world a few years prior, Falcone primarily played a strategic reserve role in this tournament. He only appeared in 2 matches, but his presence in the dressing room remained a great source of moral support. Falcone represented elegance and sophistication in his playing style, a complete midfielder rarely produced by modern football. After retiring from playing, Falcone tried his hand at various roles. He coached both the Brazilian and Japanese national teams, but his coaching career wasn't as brilliant as his playing career. He transitioned to television commentary and quickly became one of the most popular commentators thanks to his insightful analysis and polite language. Falcone's personal life has also been full of ups and downs, including tumultuous divorces and legal troubles, but he has always maintained the composure of a gentleman. He knows how to balance his life, focus on his media work, and enjoy his old age. Today, at 71, Falcone remains a living legend, an immortal king of Rome in the hearts of AS Roma and Brazilian fans, who still appears weekly on television to share his insightful perspectives on the beautiful game. Claudio Ibrahim Vaz Leal, also known as Branco, was only 22 years old at the 1986 World Cup, but had already secured a starting spot on the left flank. Strong, tenacious, and possessing a powerful free-kick ability, Branco was the one who earned the penalty against France, which Zico missed. He was a modern-day fullback, tirelessly contributing to both attack and defense, a true warrior among a host of artists. Fate rewarded Branco's efforts. 8 years after the defeat in Mexico, he became the hero with a stunning free kick against the Netherlands in the 1994 World Cup quarter-finals, paving the way for Brazil's fourth World Championship title. He fulfilled the dream left unfinished by his predecessors Zico and Socrates. After retiring from playing, Branco continued his involvement in football in a managerial role. He served as a coordinator for Brazil's youth teams, nurturing new talents. However, the greatest challenge of his life was not on the pitch. In 2021, Branco faced a life-threatening situation when he contracted a severe case of COVID-19, spending weeks in the intensive care unit. With the will of a warrior, he triumphed over death. Today, at the age of 60, Branco continues to dedicate himself to the Brazilian Football Confederation, cherishing every breath of life and remaining a role model for younger generations of players. Alemão, Ricardo Rogério de Brito, played the role of the metronome, the rhythmic counter that kept everything on track in an orchestra playing improvisational samba melodies. At 24, with his golden hair, hence his nickname Alemão, German, he brought a unique touch, discipline, and muscular strength. Alemão was the defensive sweeper. We're ready to rush into hot spots to recover the ball for Zico or Socrates to create intricate passing sequences. He was the perfect blend of Brazilian technique and European tactical thinking, a modern midfielder ahead of his time. Alemão's career subsequently became intertwined with Napoli's most glorious years. Along with Maradona and Careca, he formed the famous ABC axis, conquering Serie A and European Cups. In Italy, Alemão was likened to an unstoppable tank, a silent hero who always sacrificed himself so that the attacking stars could shine. Leaving the pitch, Alemão chose a life completely opposite to the noise of packed stadiums. He returned to Brazil, away from the flashing lights and the parties of the elite. Alemão's current life is a peaceful, quiet one. He once tried his hand at coaching small teams in the state of Minas Gerais, but didn't prioritize success or fame. He spends most of his time managing a sports center for drug rehabilitation, helping troubled youth find their way back to life. It seems the role of cleaner on the football field has strangely become intertwined with his life. In the past, he cleaned up the attacks of opponents. Today, at 63, he quietly cleans up the broken pieces in the lives of young people, a compassionate hero hidden behind his once cold exterior. Júlio César da Silva, the 23-year-old center-back with a handsome face and a physique like a Roman statue, was Brazil's most reliable defensive anchor at Mexico '86. Fans certainly can't forget his thunderous long-range shot against France that hit the post, a moment where the line between glory and defeat was only a few centimeters apart. Júlio César wasn't just a good defender. He also possessed excellent attacking abilities, and his long-range cannon shots became his trademark. He represented the epitome of a graceful yet powerful center-back, a wall that could dance. After the heartbreak in Mexico, Júlio César had a brilliant career in Europe. He became a legend at Juventus and then at Borussia Dortmund, where he won the prestigious Champions League. He is one of the most successful Brazilian defenders in history on the continent, proving that Brazilians also know how to defend scientifically. Away from the pitch, Julio Cesar is a shrewd and discreet businessman. He works in player representation and sports consulting, using his reputation and experience to mentor young talents. Without scandals or fanfare, he has cultivated an image of a refined and successful gentleman. Now, at 62, Julio Cesar still travels frequently between Brazil and Europe, acting as an ambassador for his former clubs. His life is a straight line of steady progress, proving that talent combined with professionalism always leads to complete success. Carlos Roberto Gallo, or simply Carlos, arrived at the 1986 World Cup at the age of 30 as the #1 goalkeeper. In a team where everyone wanted to attack, Carlos's position was the loneliest. He played brilliantly throughout the tournament, conceding only 1 goal in regular time. But ironically, that goal came in this quarter-final against France, followed by the defeat on penalties. The image of Carlos helplessly watching the ball fly into the net, or the controversies surrounding whether he was fouled in Michel Platini's equalizer, became a haunting memory for him for many years. After the tournament, Carlos continued to play consistently in the Brazilian domestic league and was respected for his professionalism. However, the shadow of the 1986 defeat meant he never received the recognition he deserved. Unlike other world champion goalkeepers, Carlos chose to face the pain in silence and through hard work. He transitioned to coaching goalkeepers, passing on his experience to the next generation at major clubs such as Internacional and Atlético Mineiro. Carlos's personal life is very simple. He is a family man, living modestly and rarely appearing in the media to explain his past. He finds joy in training young goalkeepers, helping them avoid the mistakes he once made. Today, at 69, Carlos lives peacefully in his hometown. His hair has turned white, but the hands that once caught thunderous shots are now nurturing young football talents. His story is a lesson about the harsh reality of the goalkeeper position, where 100 saves can be forgotten by a single fateful moment. Walter Casagrande, 23 years old, was the rebellious rock star of the Brazilian national team that year. With his long, curly hair and passionate playing style, Casagrande was Socrates' most compatible partner not only on the field, but also in the Corinthian democracy movement. At Mexico '86, although he didn't score many goals, his relentless runs and fighting spirit created many opportunities for his teammates. Casagrande embodied the wildness, passion, and a touch of carefree recklessness of youth. But behind that strong exterior lay a deeply wounded soul and a protracted battle with the demon of drugs. After playing in Europe for Porto and Torino, Casagrande spiraled into addiction. Cocaine and heroin nearly claimed his life in a horrific car accident and multiple drug overdoses. His life hit rock bottom, losing his family, his career, and his self-respect. However, miraculously, Casagrande did not die. He successfully overcame his addiction after years of tearful struggle. His resurgence was more powerful than any goal. He became a leading football commentator in Brazil, renowned for his outspoken views on politics and society. He publicly shared his story of addiction to warn young people, becoming a symbol of resilience. Today, at 62, Casagrande remains a powerful voice, a true warrior who conquered his greatest enemy, his own self, continuing to inspire with his raw truth and courage. Müller, Luis Antonio Correa da Costa, was the youngest member of the national team in 1986. At just 20 years old, swift as a whirlwind, skillful and full of instinct, Müller was brought onto the field to wreak havoc on opposing defenses with his youthful energy. Although he couldn't shine brightly in Mexico due to lack of experience, that tournament served as a springboard for him to become one of the world's best strikers later on. He was a raw gem waiting to shine, carrying within him the aspirations of a new generation. Fate smiled upon Müller when he and Brazil won the 1994 World Cup, compensating for the disappointment of his predecessors in 1986. His club career was also illustrious, with 2 Intercontinental Cup titles with Sao Paulo, where he scored the decisive goal against the great AC Milan. After retiring, Müller went through a difficult period financially due to poor management, but he found solace in faith. He became a Protestant pastor, dedicating much of his time to preaching God's word and doing volunteer work. The image of the mischievous striker he once was has been replaced by that of a calm man, holding a Bible in his hand. He is also a sharp, sometimes controversial, television commentator known for his blunt remarks. Today, at 59, Mueller lives the life of a devout man, finding a balance between past fame and inner peace, proving that worldly glory is not the ultimate goal.